How's everybody doing? Welcome back to my channel for a brand new video, and today I'm going to walk you through an introductory guide on how to play as Eddy Gordo in Tekken 8. And yes, I know that the running joke is that all you gotta do is mash 3-4-3-4, but there's actually a lot more depth to Eddy, and you can do some pretty cool things with him. So in this guide, we'll look at the basics on how to play Eddy, cover key moves, and general game plan. As always, my goal is to provide you with practical information that will set you up for success. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So what type of character is Eddy? In Tekken 8, he has changed a lot. He has a very different move list than in previous Tekken games. He got many new tools that replaced old moves. Some are good, some are debatable, depending on preference and who you ask. But overall, he is a very strong character in Tekken 8, and his moves were well designed to fit into the new aggressive system. Eddy fights using capoeira, which means he is a very evasive character that can use his stances to avoid many attacks that normal characters are unable to. So he can go to handstand, right? He does have a stance where he sits on the floor like so. And his evasiveness can be used for defense, but it's also a great offensive tool, as that's how you will be getting the bulk of his damage. As an Eddy player, your main goal is to use these stances and mix-ups and overwhelm your opponent with pressure. Now let's talk about his movement. So his basic movement in this game has changed, and this is why. In previous Tekken games, Eddy probably had the best backdash in the game. In Tekken 8, his backdash took a hit. It's not bad, but it's definitely not as great as it once was. It's just normal. It gets the job done. And the reason why this change was made is because in Tekken 8, Eddy now has a legitimate sidestep. As you can see, he can sidestep to the background, to the foreground, and this is something that was not present in previous Tekken games. In the other Tekken games in the past, if he tried to sidestep, he would go nowhere. So I believe now with a legitimate sidestep in his moves, that's why the backdash had to be toned down a little bit to even that out. The core element around Eddy's gameplay is going to be his stances. So I'm going to quickly introduce Eddy's stances because a lot of the moves that he'll do will put you in one of these stances and you need to be ready. So Eddy has two stances. He has Bananeira, which is this stance where he goes into handstand, as you can see. This can be done manually by pressing forward 1+2 or back 1+2, like so. He also has Negativa, where he sits on the floor just like that. This can be done manually by pressing down 3+4. Now to keep it simple, it's universally agreed upon that we call his stances as the following. Handstand, like so, very self-explanatory, handstand. And then when he goes on the floor, this is called relax stance. We got handstand and relax. Keep this in mind. Eddy's stances in this game actually got nice buffs because he can now move forward in them. So as you can see, he can go to handstand and continue to move forward and approach the opponent. The same goes for relax. He can actually move forward, whereas before he was not able to do this. Not only that, but he can switch between the two stances by tapping up or down. Just like so. We will explore his options out of stance later, go more into detail, but for now I just want you to get familiar with what they look like. Perhaps the most noticeable change that Eddy got in Tekken 8 is that he actually has an install, a powered up status that can be achieved by connecting certain moves. As you can see right there, look at the middle of his life bar. You can see that the icon turned to a number 1, and it can actually go up until level 2. And as mentioned, he powers up by doing certain moves that connect. Once this power-up status has been obtained, he keeps it for the remaining of the round. During this powered-up status, Eddy has access to new moves, and I'll cover this more in detail later, but I want you to keep this in mind. Now let's cover his actual moves, starting with his key moves. First up on the list is his generic jab string. So Eddy has a 1-2 jab, just like so. Use this to quickly check your opponent. His jab strings can actually also be used to start pressure because if you hold forward, he can go into his handstand position. See? Just like that. Down forward 1. This is a generic mid poke. And the use of this is the same as the jab. It's a quick mid poke that can be used to check your opponent's stop momentum, and it's not a bad option to end rounds with. It also has decent tracking properties that can catch opponents sidestepping. Back 2. This is another mid poke, safe on block. And it actually has an extension, which is back 2-3, just like so. Back 1. So this is a move that is a mid poke, and it has a decent amount of tracking. However, it does have a follow-up in back 1, 4, 3+4. Just like so. If you get this string on counter hit, you can actually get a free relax 3+4. So you get this on counter hit, go into relax stance, and then he could get a free follow-up, just like that. Down forward 2. This is an interesting move because it used to be better. Back in the day, if this move landed on counter hit, it would give Eddy a full launcher. However, in this game, all you get is your opponent knocked down away from you. I'm throwing this in as an honorable mention because, as mentioned, it still does have counter hit properties. And then if you are at the wall and you happen to land this on counter hit, it does give you a wall splat. So you could go for a combo after that. Also, down forward 2 is an elbow, which means that this is very useful against characters like Asuka and June, who will try to parry you. You can counter them by throwing this out since it's an elbow. Up forward 2. This is a good move because it's a mid and it has a built-in sidestep. This is best used if you're able to recognize a gap in a specific string in which you can sidestep. Also, if this lands, you get a guaranteed follow-up with the following moves. Up forward 2 into QCF 3. Up forward 2 into forward 3. And as you can see, this option puts Eddy in relax stance. Up forward 2 into forward 4. And this puts Eddy in handstand position. Back 3. This right here is a hit confirmable counter hit launcher, meaning you can visually analyze to see if the first hit connects before you pull the trigger on the second hit. So let me show the difference. So on normal hit, look at the way the opponent Eddy reacts on hit. Kind of hunches over, right? But on counter hit, you see how he's kind of flying back a little bit? That's the difference. That's what you want to look out for, the counter hit property, right? Just like that. If you see the first kick connect as a counter hit, then you can pull the trigger on the second hit to get a launcher. Just like so. The reason why hit confirming this is important is because if you just throw it out there, it can get blocked and then you will be at a disadvantage. Just like so. You see, the opponent Eddy was able to block it and he can go for a punish there. Running 3. Freaking huge drop kick, right? So this is a mid attack and it's used to approach an opponent. Running 3 on block actually allows Eddy to go into a handstand. This means that if this gets blocked, you're still able to continue with your pressure and mix-ups. Standing 4. This is just another mid poke. It is good for keep out. It has a follow-up, so it would be 4-4. And as you can see, that's a heat engager. It is mid and safe on block. Sidestep 3+4. This is used as a keep out tool. And as you can see on hit, it gives you a launcher. Sidestep 3. This is a mid attack and it's useful for approaching opponents at a distance. So let's say I'm about this far from the opponent. I could do sidestep 3 and approach just like that. And as you can see, it goes into a relaxed stance, which allows you to have the moves that come out from that particular stance. It can also be canceled, so you can do sidestep 3, hold down, and cancel. Just like so. So it can be used as a fake out. Up forward 4. So this is a long reaching mid homing attack, meaning that it tracks to both sides. This is a good move to throw out to close out rounds. And on hit, as you can see, Eddy goes into his relaxed stance, which allows him for further pressure and mix-ups. Down forward 3. This is a launcher and it's going to be Eddy's go-to whiff punisher. So if you're backdashing, maybe you're spacing out your opponent and they happen to whiff a big move, always have down forward 3 on deck for a whiff punish because this is going to carry you a long way. And I'm not saying carry in a bad way, but this is like his go-to whiff punisher and you will get a lot of mileage for this. Always have this ready, right, as a whiff punisher. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the key low moves that he has. Down 3. Used to close out rounds. On counter hit, it does have a different property. So as you can see, it knocks down the opponent. And if you get this on counter hit, you're able to follow up with a forward 4 for a guaranteed hit. Down back 3. So this is a move that's kind of on the slow side, but you'd actually be surprised at how often this connects. So it's not a bad move to throw out there. And it also does have counter hit properties as well. Just like so. Sidestep 4. This is one of my favorite moves that Eddy has. It's a quick 2-hit low attack, as you can see. And you can actually abuse this a lot. So always a good move to keep in mind. Down 4. This move actually has an extension. By doing down 4-3, he goes into a follow-up. But it is only natural on counter hit. So as you can see, if it's on regular hit, the opponent is able to block it. But if I have counter hit properties, if this move connects on counter hit, he cannot block it. And one thing I want you to notice about the opponent Eddy player is that he was in a crouching position. So if for any reason you happen to get the follow-up hit, you can actually go for a crouching throw. Just like so. Forward 3. This is a good approaching tool from distance. So let's say you're around here, right? You could do forward 3 and you will connect with your opponent. And as you can see, Eddy goes into relaxed stance automatically. Now, the best thing about this move is the counter hit properties because you have a couple options with it. So if this connects on counter hit, you can go for a crouching throw, just like so, or you can do relaxed forward 3. So let's go into counter hit, forward 3, forward 3, and look at that. 3-hit combo for 50 damage into a heat engager. That's pretty good. Alright, so let's cover Eddy's throws real quick, and he has the following command throws. Up forward 2. This swaps sides with the opponent, and if you do this at the wall, you actually get a wall splat. So as you can see, if you get this, you can switch sides, you get a wall splat for a little bit of extra damage. From relaxed stance, he can do up forward 2, and this is his famous rodeo throw. So in Tekken 8, this throw can only be done from relaxed stance. Before, he used to be able to do it while standing normally, but now that's no longer the case. So always remember, rodeo throw can only be done from relaxed stance. Regardless, it's still a very good move, a very good throw, a lot of damage, and it's something that you should be using. In handstand position, Eddy also has a throw. As you can see, you can go into handstand and press 1+3 or 2+4, like so, and you'll get this throw. This is a throw that cannot be broken. The only way your opponent can avoid it is if they anticipate and duck it. That's the only way. And if you catch your opponent crouching for any reason, Eddy does have 2 throws from that. So by pressing down 1+3, he can go into this throw that activates heat. He can also do down 2+4, and this does not give him heat, but it gives a little bit more damage. So now let's talk about Eddy's stances in more detail and what you can do. Because of how he fights, there is so much room for creativity in how you approach these stances. However, let me show you some of the key moves from each stance that you'll be doing. In handstand position, he can do handstand 1, and this goes into relaxed stance automatically, just like so. And of course, being in a relaxed stance, that allows you opportunity to go for further mix-ups and pressure. Handstand 2 is a mid-poke, something to keep in mind. Handstand 3 actually starts a string that ends in relax, just like so. So it's the 3-part string. Handstand 4, mid-poke, and it continues to leave Eddy in handstand position. Since you're still in handstand, you can tap up or down to go into relax and utilize your evasive maneuvers. And then of course he does have the throws that we just covered, so handstand throw. Remember in the beginning when I spoke about Eddy's powered up status? If he has that activated during handstand position, he gets access to 2 new moves, and the properties each depend on the level. Alright, so I have level 1 activated, and as you can see, I'm going to go into handstand, and he has access to these following moves. Handstand, back 4. Handstand 3+4. If Eddy has level 2 activated, then he still has access to the same moves, but the properties change. So they knock down, as you can see. That was handstand back 4 with install activated. I think the name of it is called MANGA, so keep that in mind. And then he also has 3+4, just like so. And as you can see, it also knocks down. So as mentioned, it all depends on how much level Eddy has. From relaxed stance, your goal is to mix up your opponent and frustrate them by using a series of mid and low attacks. The most common moves you'll want to be used are relaxed 3-3, and the reason why is because this is actually the move that gets Eddy the power up. As you can see, I leveled up to 1, now it's level 2, as you can see. You want to keep mixing things up. You want to go low, you want to go mid, but perhaps the best idea to do is condition your opponent to block low, to duck. Because from relaxed stance, the moves that are going to be the most beneficial, the most damaging, will be the mid attacks. So let's say, for example, I've conditioned my opponent that I always go low, and he's blocking low, he's ducking. I'm in relaxed stance, he ducks, boom, hit him with a launcher. 3+4 for a full combo. And we can't forget about the heat engager, relax 4-3, just like so. You have a lot of freedom and creativity to do with this as you wish, but primarily my game plan is always try to condition them to go low, to block low. That's when I hit him with a follow-up mid attacks that are more powerful. Eddy's punishers are the following: 10 frame, 1-2 jab, or 1-3 into relax. 12 frame, 2-3, goes into handstand position, or 2-1. 13 frame, down forward 1-3. 15 frame, down forward 3. From crouching, his punishers are 10 frame, down back 1 jab. 11 frame, while standing 4-4. 13 frame, while standing 1-3. I'm a big fan of this move, and that's one of the reasons why I like playing Eddy so much, is because from 13 frames, he can actually get a full launcher on an opponent. 15 frame, while standing 2. 19 frame or worse, while standing 3. Eddy's heat engagers are the following: 4-4, 4-3+4, relax 4-3, back 3+4, down 1+3 throw on a crouching opponent. When Eddy has heat activated, he actually gets access to 2 new moves, and they are the following: 3+4, and as you can see, this is a full launch on hit, quarter circle forward 4. Both attacks are safe as well on block. So if he has heat activated and 3+4 is blocked, it's safe and he can go into stance. And the same applies for quarter circle forward 4. Safe on block, he goes into relaxed stance. And there you have it, an introductory guide on how to play Eddy in Tekken 8. Overall, he's a very strong character in this game. The changes that he got fit nicely into this new system. And honestly, he's not complicated to pick up. So that's definitely a benefit that he has. And once you get more in detail with this character, you'll really realize how much creativity and freedom you have with your game plan. You don't have to stick to one specific style. He's not bounded to that. Overall, I do recommend Eddy as a character. He's really fun to play, has very satisfying combos to hit, and he's just overall cool. Like, he's such a cool character. But yeah, that's my introductory guide on Eddy Gordo. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what y'all thought. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good day. Stay safe out there. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.